Meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. First on the agenda is a notice of intent for 13 Cottage Lane. And let's see, I'll read the notice. According to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, there will be a hearing on a notice of intent filed by Tracy Arruda. The location of the project is 13 Cottage Lane. Assessor's ID is 50-0402. Public hearing will be held on November 12th at 7 p.m.
And you have the notices to the abutters with you there?
I do.
I'll take those.
I have all the information, I have the DEP number and.
Oh, good.
this
No,
too.
all I need
Everybody
is-
has that? Okay.
I'll give that to Bob and you take
Yeah, yeah.
Are you going to make the presentation?
No, my son is.
Okay, if you wouldn't mind standing up there to the microphone.
How you doing? I'm Brandon Ruda, I'm Tracy's son. I own a business in Bridgewater, Bridgewater AMC and Gravel. We're looking to do a full rebuild on the house, demo and rebuild in the same footage. She's looking to get her own well, which is located on that paperwork. I don't know if it was given to you guys. Basically, we're just looking to see, going from the board and see if it's something obviously possible and you guys' recommendations on anything we need to do.
Okay. So do we have any questions? Any observations, comments? Go ahead.
I didn't notice mention of the well anywhere in the paperwork. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, it's on the site plan.
It's on the plan, but it's not in your description of work, is my
He didn't
point.
submit it in, the engineer was supposed to submit it in the paperwork for the foundation, so if that's not, it
It does say the well's proposed as such to remain as far
Right
as
there,
possible from
in the first
existing
paragraph,
septic
patio, well, roof drain system.
Okay, on the letter, not in the notice of intent. I didn't read the whole letter. Okay, that's my biggest concern is the well.
Yep.
We've had accidents with wells being drilled around ponds.
Yep. Now, with that well, is there any specifications for being by the pond? That's any, or is it just your normal?
Well, I can't tell how far back it is.
It's way outside the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah,
Think
it's
so?
it's way back. I
Here's
think
the
it is.
100-foot buffer here, there's the well. Oh, wait a minute.
No,
wrong
it's not,
side.
the water's right there,
Wrong side.
John.
No, this is the water side. Yeah,
It's definitely within the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah,
it's well within
Yep.
it.
yeah.
So,
I can't even tell, 40 feet.
Yeah, I'd say 40, 50 feet.
I would just recommend that we be notified when they're gonna drill it because of the accidents that we've had. We've had some
Yeah.
pretty bad accidents with,
well,
it's
isn't there a, didn't we do a dewatering?
pit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is there one on here?
You would like to see dewatering
Yeah.
pit during
Yeah.
well?
Yeah,
Because
because,
they usually do them with a suction truck, right? Pit, water pit with a suction truck
Yeah.
for the
Who you get
drill
for-
for.
Who you get for a driller. Either they recirculate it or,
Yeah,
Well,
we
we've
haven't
had-
found.
we've had people get the drill sludge in the water.
Yeah.
That's what I, yeah.
That's what I was-
Yeah, I didn't know if you recommend a vac truck or, I've seen
I
that.
would think that's a better
Yeah,
than a
Yeah.
dewatering.
yeah.
Yeah, the dewatering pit works, but obviously once it overflows,
Yeah.
so.
Well, when you notify us of the date of your drilling, also let us know what method you're going to be
What
using
method
and
we-
what safeguards you're going to institute. And we'll see if that's
Perfect.
adequate at the time.
Awesome.
The method you use, a lot of it depends upon where you can get to on a small lot like this.
Yep,
That's
that's gonna be up to the well company, so once I find out from them what they wanna do, I'll submit it to you guys.
So that's one of the first things you gotta do, right? To pull a permit, you need a well.
The well, yep, the well and the proposed patio.
Have you lined up a contractor, a well contractor?
Not yet. That's why I didn't know if you guys had anyone recommended for by the water in the Lakeville.
There's plenty around.
Yeah, if you go to the Board of Health, they'll give you a list of people. that
People, yeah,
Drilled
that are
the town.
approved, so.
awesome.
So all this asphalt that's being removed, It's all gonna be replanted with loam and seed?
Lumen seed, yep, correct.
Well, that's better.
Does anyone else have a question? And while you're mulling it over, are there any abutters here? If anyone wants to speak to the project? Okay.
Hey, one other question. I'm showing the existing septic is on a different lot?
Yeah, it's a pump septic, it's a shared septic with our butter to the, it'd be if you're looking at the house to the right. So none of that's changing, the house is keeping the same
Okay.
septic tank, same location.
So it's not across the street, it's the one to
Next door.
the,
It's
I'm
the
just
next
looking
door
at to the
lot.
left.
Yeah, it's the next lot to the
Okay,
right.
to the right, looking from the pond in?
From the pond in would be to your left.
Oh, then it's not on the plan then.
Showing existing septic on
That's
the,
the neighbors.
On the right.
oh, okay.
That's the neighbors.
But you're not working on that, so it
that's all
doesn't need to be
Yeah,
on the plan.
that's, just
All that's
curious.
staying, just the only thing that's staying is like the existing septic tank and pump chamber.
Okay.
Yep. And that's already been okayed by the
Yep.
Board of Health, yeah?
Correct,
Okay,
yep.
that's good.
Yeah, you're gonna want good erosion control there, because you go steadily down towards the pond.
Correct.
So we
He
get-
has silt fence.
Yep.
Yep, silt fence staked.
Do I have the right location, since we're talking about the well being next door? Was the property next door to the house, was that knocked down, was it demolished?
Not that I know of.
No? All right,
No.
yes?
Mr. Chairman, I'm the abutter, I live at 15 Cottage. At one point in time,
Could you come up to the podium to speak, please, and just state your name for the camera, please?
yes,
Thank you.
my name's Les Dakin, I live at 15 Cottage Lane, we own the property there. At one time, 15 Cottage Lane, 13 Cottage Lane, and I believe it was 10, was owned by the same individual. So there was, for whatever reason, long before both Mr. Reuter and I got there, a shared well, and I would assume that with the implementation of Title V in 1995, that in order for her to transfer ownership of the property, she put a leaching field behind the garage on number 15. So the septic tank is on 13, but the leaching field via a pump chamber goes up to number 15. And the well is shared, I would assume, for the same reason.
Okay, all right. So I knew I'd seen a plan some time ago for that property, and that's just stayed in my mind when I saw this one come up, so thanks for clarifying that.
And that's just for informational purposes, you're not complaining, you're just
I have no
letting us know.
complaints, you know,
And you're okay
I'd
with the
like to
project
see
as?
Ms. Aruda build the house that she'd like to build. My only concern, as I've mentioned before, and they've cooperated fully, is that there's no adverse effect to our property, you know, to protect our investment, but we certainly are supportive. And it would, you know, if she's able to place her own well, it would take the burden off us during the winter to, you know, to keep the house heated so the pipes don't freeze, et cetera.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Could I just ask you, the purpose of there's a lengthy crushed stone drain actually along the property line between,
That's to resolve with Les to make sure no water runoff makes it onto his property. That was the
and
purpose of that.
so you're gonna line that with like a filter fabric and then fill it
Filter
with the
fabric,
stone?
stone, and then the fence will be inside that. Her privacy fence.
Another question also, what happens at the end of that crushed stone?
It's just
Great.
was gonna be a daylighted,
Does it just end up sheet flow down to the pond, or?
yeah, it just daylights out and then would run the
Okay.
rest of the way of the pond.
Okay.
No, that's just for whatever ground runoff.
Okay.
All the downspouts will be tied into that Arc 36 chambers and leached into the ground.
Is there sort of a naturally occurring swale there now?
Yes.
Figured, yeah.
Did you take some trees down fairly recently?
Yes.
Correct.
That's where I met you.
Remember? Yeah.
All right.
That's where we met.
I knew it,
Yeah.
took me a minute, but,
Yep.
okay.
Did you guys apply to natural heritage?
Yes.
And have you heard back?
Have you heard back?
We're seeing
Yeah,
everything's there.
everything's
We
there.
haven't heard back yet, no.
No?
Nope.
So what, anything that we approve would be contingent on that?
Correct.
Would you entertain a motion?
I sure will.
I would make a motion to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions for the proposed work on the plan of record for 13 Cottage Lane, with the condition that a dewatering truck be on site during the well drilling, and all this is pending the natural heritage response.
And we'll be notified when that's gonna be, when the well drilling's gonna be.
Correct, yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And typically, the agent likes to, before you start construction, shovel hit the dirt,
Yep.
you call and just let us know the silt fence is up and in place.
Yep, for inspect. Do you guys want to inspect it?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, they'll
Yep.
want to come and just take a peek.
Awesome.
Very good. Thanks,
Thank
you're good to go.
Good luck. Very much.
The notice is for a rooter.
Tom? Yes, good idea.
There's a copy there, but.
You sign a paper on that, or you're going on to?
That's what I was looking for, I don't have it. So that. Oh, I don't.
That you can have it, yep, okay? Take care.
Either. No, I'm sorry, I don't have.
That means we gotta go climb up to
You're
the,
gonna have
yeah,
to,
second floor.
yeah, way up there, it's such a, no, sorry, you don't.
That's fine, we'll take care of it during the week.
So, the next one is. You wanna
Me.
recuse yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna recuse myself and go up there.
Is there a Mrs. Yates in the audience today?
Who's Thomas Cleverly?
Who's Thomas Connolly? My husband.
Oh,
And just before I notice before I read the notice, just for the record, there's a typo on the agenda. It says 9 Twin Oaks and it's 19.
19, right. And I'm so glad Rick Hagerman did this, so now I know what to do, because he did that last meeting.
Follow in his footsteps. Okay, according to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, you will be hearing on a request for determination of applicability by Nancy Yates for the installation of riprap. Location of the project is 19 Twin Oaks Road, Lakeville, map 65, block 3, lot 5. Public hearing will be held on Tuesday, November 12th at 7 p.m. And you are?
Nancy Yates. Well, it's just like Rick Hagerman. It was not this last March, but the March before, we had those 3 northeasters, and we have lost a lot of frontage, like a lot. Like even where our lot line is for the cottage next door, the marker is gone for the lot line, like totally gone. So we're on a little cliff, and there won't be any use of machinery. Tommy's building a ramp,
oh man.
and he's gonna push the right by. He built this, bought this little cart that holds 1 million pounds that he's gonna get the rocks and pull them out, push them over, and have somebody down to help place them. So it all has to be done by hand. Well, Bob was
Who
there,
gets the
he
job
knows.
of rock catcher?
Yeah, probably
Jim,
one of
catch
our
that rock.
younger people.
Some young volunteer.
So, I mean, we're just losing it, and our house is really pretty close to the edge anyway. There's a bush I used to have with the red berries on it that the birds all came to is now down over the bank. So, those of you who live on the pond know how it goes.
Mother Nature comes and gets you no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, and Bob came and looked at it.
So are you looking to do everywhere that you have that steep gradient, or are you,
Yeah, we're gonna do all the way along, but I had put 50 ton this year and 50 ton next year. Cause I had talked to Rick about how many tons, and then Tommy had called up, I think a truckload's 40 ton really, but we're gonna do some of it this year and some of it next year. And see how far we get, cause it gets flatter down by the other side. We have 250 feet of frontage. That'd be a lot of rocks if we were trying to.
When you say this year, you mean before this calendar year?
Yeah,
before
he's
the
getting
end?
ready to go. He keeps saying, when's the meeting, when's the meeting? He wants to get hopping.
I bet after today he does, he wants to go hopping.
how is he gonna get it down there? From the shallow part and follow around, or is he gonna
I'm
come
gonna go
straight
right
down
over the
it?
bank.
And what do you think, Mr. Agent?
Okay, that's which hat I can wear.
Yeah, your agent hat, you went out and
So
looked.
as Nancy indicated, I went there and took a look at it, and I'm satisfied with what they're proposing. I think it's sufficient, and I can't see any negative impact. For that matter, it's more positive than anything.
Is it all a cleared bank? The whole,
There's very little
Brush.
vegetation.
Yeah, it's like brush that we cut back all the time, so it gets a little bit thicker, but not the roots, because that's
Oh,
what's holding the
that's
rest of
what's
the
holding
bank.
it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I asked them specifically, and he said, no, we're not removing any
Yeah,
vegetation.
no.
So, all the better.
And the same as with Rick's place, gonna be no adverse effect on properties on either side with placement of the rocks.
Yeah, we probably won't even get close to that property line on the other side.
Okay.
And I think that our neighbor in Garvey's old house, I think they're pretty happy because they've, yeah.
This will help protect
Yeah,
their frontage.
Yeah,
So you're gonna start right up at the property line?
yeah.
Yeah. And Rick's is a little bit more complicated because he has that ramp for his boat.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kinda got a concrete wall.
Yeah, so it makes
Trying to back up the
it makes
wall.
the corner, you know,
Yeah, we can't put our boat in at our own house because we're up on the cliff.
yeah.
And he's using a lot bigger stuff too.
All right, anybody else have a
No,
question or comment? No butters?
make a motion?
Go ahead.
Motion to close the hearing and issue a negative determination for the riprap installation at 19 Twin Oaks.
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Go home and start tonight.
Tomorrow morning, first thing.
Text him.
you have a form on that?
Yes, I do. They put a little sticker on it.
Anywhere? Anywhere? Is that the right sheet?
What, what's it say?
No signature.
Well, we had them afterwards.
You just sign it anyway?
Just sign it, yeah. Oh, you can do it.
This project's done.
What project is that?
Lakeside Landing.
Oh, yeah.
Can't.
That was a big undertaking. Looks like they did a decent job and it's all on the ground, high pressed.
Yeah, I was there looking at it today. It's in really good shape.
Certificate of compliance.
Oh, right.
Crazy one.
They've been working on that for a long time.
Thank you. All right, next, we have a certificate of compliance for Lakeside Landing. No one here for Lakeside. Okay,
Who's the engineer?
I'm kind of, Hermano?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
No, they're local, they're Freetown, is it?
Sonnet, says here.
Sonnet,
Sonnet.
So, yeah. Well, everything is in order. I've got their paperwork. I've been out to inspect the property since it was completed, so I don't have any issues. They gave us an as-built drawing.
Which I'm sure gets submitted to the Board of Health as well.
Oh, yeah.
Were there any notable changes from the original plan that we might need to?
There were several deviations, but they were minor. And did I pass them out?
Yeah.
Good.
I have the as-built plan.
Okay, I thought it, all right. You're not losing it.
So the minor deviations, nothing was closer to the wetlands or nothing was,
Feet, one place it was a difference between 125 and 127. Another case, it was actually a gain, there was a greater distance, not a lot of lesser distance. So minor things like this, the shed that they built that had to be moved a little bit, and they had asked for permission earlier during construction, and I'd
They
given
could
them the
still
okay
call
on that.
They were working on some serious constraints on that property.
yeah, we're trying to keep everything open, it must have been
Yeah,
tough.
this is huge.
So the reason I ask is I just recall at
They've been working on it.
the owner's other Bedford Street property, they were coming back for COC at the sale of that building. And there were some major changes, but it was like 10 years past construction. So I guess I want to bring it up now so that if we want to vote this in as our plan of record of the completed project, we probably should. So a copy of this goes on record in our file, rather than the original and then somebody come out down the road and say, hey, well, it's 127 instead of 125. We acknowledge it.
I think they actually did stamp it, or as-built,
Yeah, they did, but we want to make that into the conservation file
but you're right.
as well, so. I mean, it sounds like it's good and clean. Will you entertain a motion?
Yes, I will.
I'm making a motion to accept the as-built plan as our final plan of record and issue a certificate of compliance for 348 and 350 Bedford Streets sanitary disposal upgrade.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, those second?
Oh, second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye. That was quite an upgrade, wow.
Bob, are we getting these electronically anymore? I mean, I get really nervous because we say we want to save them, but I know a lot of the files, like, looks like you've rescued some of them, Bob.
Yeah, if we don't get them submitted electronically, Lori loads them on. So they are getting saved that way.
So we have some way of saving some of this information.
I'm still nervous about, I know what the regulations of the paperwork files, regulations of maintenance of stuff for the state, yet, buckets of stuff are being thrown away, and, we're a board that, we may have to go back 45 years on a piece of property.
Well, I just know I relied on those old files.
On those old files all the time.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll have to change that.
Actually says he who kept files from the war.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, we'll already be by during the week, we've got another one, so.
May as well do it all at once. Yeah, you know what? Same thing for, final.
66.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, I can just get your signature, so we can still approve it.
Yeah, I'm around town tomorrow and Thursday, I'm sure we
All
can do
right,
that.
I only need 3. All right, so the next one is actually 3 certificates of compliance.
Well, all for the same property.
All for the same property, different owners, different periods of time, different, all together. But the 2 previous ones, we're gonna close out first. Well, this doesn't really matter. And then the newest one for the work that was just completed. And the property's been sold, am I? Okay. All right, so we just make it a package deal.
Do you have numbers that we want to include in the motion? Or just?
Numbers for the file numbers?
Yeah, just to make sure we,
Okay, they are in sequence 459, 532, and 803. These are DEP file notices.
803 was the last one?
Yes.
They're all 192s?
Yep.
So make a motion to close the hearing and issue a certificate of compliance.
It's not a hearing.
All right, so I'd make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for the 3 orders of conditions, SE 192-459, 192-532, and 192-803 on 66 Highland Road.
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, you're done. We'll have the paperwork for you in a few days.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. It was a long time coming.
We got it. Thanks again.
So,
Have a good night. What's Fuller Shores, what do you got there?
sir, are you
No, I ever.
just for the sheer fun of it?
Yeah, enjoying the show.
All right, what time is it?
7:25.
She said she'd be here.
What was the issue?
50 Fuller Shores is,
Oh, that's the runoff one. You had
Yeah.
mentioned it to me at the office. This came in front of planning board too, and they suggested you should get an engineer.
yeah, we did the same.
Is that what they're claiming from Justine's Way?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd have to recuse myself.
Yeah. Yeah, they are, her complaint is that she's getting runoff from the property up gradient from her, as well as the sheet flow from the roadway that's entering a drainage swale on her property that hasn't been maintained since she purchased the property. And when there's a storm event, water crosses into her, not just into her yard, but over her septic system.
That's a private road with an association.
It is,
Wouldn't her
yes.
issue be with them?
Yeah.
That's my opinion, but I'm just kind of giving you the background. And so her issue is that she's afraid the septic system will fail. She's been before her local homeowners association. They took a vote on it and chose to ignore her claims, I guess you could say. So she's looking for someone to help her out to clear this up. And I'm not 100% sure just what she's hoping for, or what the outcome is going to be. And that's why I'd asked her to come and make a presentation to us so that we could sort of weigh it. But my final recommendation to her was, you need a lawyer and you need an engineer. This is a civil matter.
Just gonna say that she's got the swale in her property that hasn't been maintained. Does she want to do something with that swale?
Well, it does, I agree with her, it does need to be maintained. It's full of sediment,
But it's on her property.
but it's on her
Her
property
property.
and it's run off from a private road.
Yeah.
And she has, I've got a whole file here of information that she has compiled.
Do you want to just kind of,
Table it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
table it until she shows up and makes a presentation, or,
She was gonna be here tonight, you said.
yeah, I told her we'd put her on right after we conducted all the other business. She might just be running late, I don't know.
Bob, is there a wetland area that drains, not from the top of the hill, but from the back of the property too? Because I
That-
remember this.
Yeah.
The whole slope from the top
Right.
of the hill where Justine's is,
Yeah.
it's, in some places it's fairly steep, in some places there's some bedrock poking out of the ground. I think the problem is a combination of seepage from groundwater as well as runoff.
Right.
So you've got two components.
Yep.
And her house is fairly well situated. It kind of sits on a little promontory, so she's isolated. So there's enough, I think, elevation around her to keep stormwater from coming in.
But not the septic.
But not the septic
septic,
system,
yeah.
which is in the worst possible place. It's right at the bottom of the hill. So she gets runoff not only from her own property, but everything else that's up gradient. So, I'm sympathetic with her situation. I just, it's something she needs to resolve with,
And she bought the house this way?
yeah.
How long ago?
I I don't recall.
I mean, fairly recently, I mean,
Oh, no, it's been a
But I-
number of years.
I feel there was a problem before Justine's Way even went in,
There's been a
Yeah.
problem on that road forever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but it came from the back.
From the original
In-
developer.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a little bit of background. The abutters to one of the properties on Justine's Way are all complaining that they're changing the drainage, they're increasing the runoff, and that it's getting onto their property, not just hers, but other properties on Fuller Shores and Nelson Shore. Yeah, just those two. No one is complaining from Justine's Way so far. That seems to be where the problem starts. Where water started to be diverted and directed downhill. So whether the original, and a number of those residents have come in and complained about the development on Justine's Way, that they've changed the drainage. I went out and inspected that property, didn't see any problems. It's consistent with the plan that was approved by the planning board.
There's a whole drainage basin that goes down the left side of
Yes.
that road. That wasn't required, but we did it. And, you know, I feel kind of uncomfortable defending myself here.
I don't think you're defending yourself, I think you're just stating
Yeah,
facts.
I mean,
Yeah, familiarity with the,
There shouldn't be
feel like-
any drainage out of Justine's Way. I don't know what the people we sold the lots to are doing to their lots,
Yeah.
but the way it was designed, there shouldn't be anything.
Yeah, and in
But-
answer to an earlier question, yes, there are wetlands down gradient of that
Right.
on some of these properties. Some of them are just isolated, others look like they may be contiguous and may be characterized as a legitimate wetland, but I don't know. Nancy?
I'm just thinking part of the problem, since all those problems were already there, and we had a really wet year, and the groundwater was really high, and the problems got worse, that it's easy to try to find somebody to blame it on.
That's what I told her. I said, you're about the fifth one with the same situation that I've looked at.
It's always been a
Recently.
problem back in that
I can tell you,
whole.
when we were building the road through the winter, there was ice before we even dug anything.
there was,
Solid ice, inches thick, on that road going all the way down from
Yeah.
from beyond us, up the hill,
up the hill,
all the way down.
yeah.
It was, in fact, they're so bad at plowing that road. Most people were going in Nelson Shore and around. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Wales. That's neither here nor there. So that's kind of where we are.
So should we, make
Motion
to table?
Motion to table.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If she comes in, we'll deal with it or at a later time.
now, did we state the name and property for the record so that when the secretary is recording this?
50 Fuller Shores.
50 Fuller Shores? Okay.
Her name is Irvine, I think.
Did everybody get a chance to review the minutes from September 24th?
Yeah, I made a couple of real minor corrections.
Changes,
And-
gave them to Lori?
You passed them in?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, very minor. I mean, she put down Rich Hageman instead of Rick, you know, later thing like that.
We'll let that happen.
And then her spelling check was playing tricks on her and changing the THEIRs to THEREs and so forth. And with real minor stuff, nothing factual whatsoever.
So I make a motion to approve the September 24th minutes with the changes as noted.
Second?
I can't, I wasn't at the.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Yeah, me too, I abstain, I wasn't here.
I'm looking at the file.
Did you vote, Josh?
Yeah.
We'll let the record show that 4 votes yes and 2 abstentions.
Okay. If anyone is interested in looking at the file for 50 Fuller Shores, I've got it here, so it's for confirmation of,
I'll be in the office.
yeah, you can look at it now, or you can come to the office to look at it, as always.
But you need our signatures anyway, right?
You have to come,
Yeah.
right?
Is somebody gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be there pretty much all day, so.
Okay, I'll swing by then.
Did we get everything? No other little extra?
Other than
updates or anything?
No, nothing else going on, just yours, just the file review for
Bedford Street.
Bedford Street,
Which is
which
really-
is no,
there's
there's
no
no
wetland
wetland
there.
issues, so it's a non-issue.
Any 21E issues there?
Not till the backhoe hits the hole and we find it, then maybe. So, we're prepared, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was the fact that there was a garage for a while that,
yeah,
Yeah.
I've got some good history from some of the townspeople, the older
Yeah,
folks that have been involved. Mr. Mills gave me a good rundown on it, and the gentleman right next door, Steve Broadbent.
oh, Steve
gave me a
Barbette,
real
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
We were doing a
Skinny on it.
21E on the property in, I think it was South Boston, and it at one time had been a automobile deal, not a dealer, but an auto body shop.
Oh,
So-
God.
And when we did the 21A, we moved some of the furniture in the office and found out that there was a second floor underneath, and when we pulled up the floorboards, we saw a manhole cover. Took
oh,
the manhole cover up, and what we found was full of solvents and turpentine and you name
They
it.
were dumping it,
Yeah.
and it was going nowhere?
Yeah, fortunately, it was in a closed tank.
Like a vault.
It had no outlets. It might have been used for heat at one time.
And it
but-
held all those years?
Yeah. The owner was
Sort of lucky.
It's very lucky.
lucky for us, that we didn't drill through it or something like that. But,
when they were doing the testing on the piece of property that's become the Great Ponds Industrial Park, our town of Lakeville Industrial Park, they had, I don't know how many holes they drilled. Everyone was fined except for one, which had every kind of disgusting thing in the world. They couldn't figure out all kinds of heavy metals and all sorts of stuff. And they happened to pick just the spot where a bulldozer had blown an engine
Wow.
2 years before. Everything, the bearing materials and everything had soaked into the ground.
One spot.
Right, that one spot. And it was just an anomaly. They went back and checked and they went, local history. The guy said, oh, that's where the D8 died. And then it sat there for like 2 years,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
that sounds like a good one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Free to go.